one thing that really, I guess you could say, stood out to me when I was looking on Twitter today is somebody pointed out that leave it to Archie, basically. Well, yeah, mostly Archie and Sega. But leave it to Archie entirely to basically make sure that it's not just Sonic, and they forgot to add these guys as well, Tails and Knuckles and even Shadow. But, they primarily pointed out hedgehogs or foxes or whatever. But they said, leave it to them to show that they're not the only ones to go super. And they emphasized this by showing Blaze as Burning Blaze, which is in the games, in the Sonic Rush games. So that's pretty much official. But then they also showed Overclocked Nicole. And Overclocked Nicole basically is the super form in the digital world of Nicole the Lynx, who is a Sonic SATM original character, but also an Archie Sonic character. Mostly the Lynx form is an original OG character design for her. And this got me to thinking, I wonder, did Ian Flynn, because I know he's had problems with the fans, myself included, but did Ian Flynn have plans? And maybe Sega shot them down because they said, oh, you can only choose one or two and that's it. But did he have plans for the others to go super? I'm just curious. I'm just curious. I mean, because I know the closest we got with Sally being super, in the comics was when she had the Sword of Acorns. Like when she first held it, she was basically super. She was invincible. She was immortal. She was a goddess, if you will. We noticed that. And that was the only tease we got. And that was before Ian Flynn. The other closest we got was at the end of the Doomsday Project when she basically got the super speed when she basically, thanks to the Power Stones, got the super speed and, and was able to run alongside with Sonic to destroy the Doomsday Project. That was the only other time. So we know that it is possible for non-game Sonic characters to go super. But was Ian Flynn planning to do so? I mean, I know some people would say, well, Amy never went super in the games. That is true. Neither did Rouge. But the possibility is still there. The possibility is still there. I mean, look at IDW Sonic right now. You can't tell me that Ian Flynn and Evan Stanley and the other writers on the book aren't thinking to themselves, I wonder, how can I make Tango go super? How can I make Whisper go super? How can I make Belle go super? You can't tell me they're not thinking that. You can't tell me they're not thinking, how can I make Jewel go super? I'm just saying, you cannot tell me they aren't pondering that, because they are. They are doing that. They can deny it all they want, but they are. And to me, I think, Ian Flynn, along with Aaliyah and maybe Evan, when they were working on the Archie book, were thinking the same thing too. And like I said, I think Sega pretty much said, yeah, you could do it, but you can only choose one or two, and the one they chose was Nicole. Because being in the digital world, and one of her, ways of being out of the digital world and physically in person and all that is through a power ring. So you do the Spark of Life, which introduces the idea that, if we put the red star rings on there, she goes into super mode. That's basically her 7 Chaos Emeralds, enhancing her to another level. Which I think is a good idea to do. I'll give him that. I will give him that. But you have to wonder if Ian and Evan and Aaliyah were planning more. Because like I said, the closest we got before Ian came on board was Sally with the Sword of Acorns. So you have to wonder, were they planning to do the rest with the Freedom Fighters as well? Now, I do want to mention that the other thing that they did show besides Sally going kind of super was Antoine, but he was using a power ring. And all he did was just ask for the power ring to enhance his ability, his strength, to, slice through something like a SWAT bot or something like that in one of the side stories for the super specials, and it did just that. So it basically enhanced the strength. But we're talking super mode here. We're talking super mode. And you have to wonder, did they have plans to do the same for the rest? And I think, honestly, yeah. I really think, in my opinion, just my opinion, if he's willing to give Nicole a super form, even though the excuse could be it's a digital world, still, it makes you curious. It makes you ponder if perhaps he was going to do the rest of the characters the same way, and I believe he was. I think I believe, this is my opinion, I believe that had none of the behind the scenes situations occurred that basically led to Sega and Archie Comics ending the partnership, that I believe with the tease that we got, with them going on their own separate adventures as part of a special 4-arc Sonic Universe story, where they were paired up with different, characters. My opinion, my belief and opinion is in those separate stories, I think each of them would have gotten a super moment. I really do. I think each of them would have gotten a super moment, kind of maybe a tease or a brief glimpse or whatever. They would have got a super moment. And I think what that would have done, had things gone the way they should have, would have built to potentially all of them, along with Sonic, going super, for maybe a final confrontation with Eggman or whatever the biggest threat they were gonna go up against, post 300, in the near future, or whatever Ian Flynn had lined up for them story wise. But I honestly believe, in my opinion, he was going to do it. I really do. I mean, it makes sense that if you're going to, do it with one character, not once but twice, that you obviously had plans to do it with the others. And like I said, you have to wonder if maybe during that originally planned Freedom Fighters arc, had that probably been the idea, that we were going to get a glimpse or a tease of each of them going super, and then maybe that all culminates in one of the post-300 story arcs conclusion, where they basically all go super along with Sonic and maybe Tails and Knuckles, but mostly Sonic and Tails, to combat, Eggman one last time, or whatever threat, surpasses Eggman as, something that requires them to all go into super forms. You have to wonder that. You have to be curious about that. And my opinion, like I said, I think Ian would have done it. And honestly, I think it would have been an awesome moment. I would have loved to see all the Freedom Fighters, because you see all these fan works out there. With Sally in super form, with Bunny in super form, with Amy in super form, and all that. I would have loved to see that one big group shot of them all in super form, getting ready to go on the attack against either Eggman or whatever threat is more of a threat than he is. I would have loved to have seen that. In the book. But as we know, unfortunately, that possibility came to an end due to the ending of the partnership between both Sega and Archie Comics, all due to what happened behind the scenes from a legal standpoint. But again, you can't tell me right now that Ian and Aaliyah and Ivan and any other writers on the IDW book aren't pondering and wondering, how can I make Amy go super? How can I make Tangle, Jewel, Whisper, and whoever else, Belle, whoever else I can think of to go super? Jewel, I think I said Jewel, right? You can't tell me they're not pondering that, because they are. And you can't tell me they aren't getting close to basically, figuratively. You can't tell me they're not figuratively going like, getting a piece of paper out and going, here's my idea of how they go super in the story, da 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 da. Or you can't tell me that they're not, figuratively, like what I'm doing right now. I'm looking at my laptop while I'm recording this. You can't tell me they're not looking at the laptop or the computer going, bringing out that keyboard or getting the fingers to that keyboard, or bringing up Microsoft Word or whatever, storytelling software they use, to write the script for the story. You can't tell me they're not getting on there, tapping on the keyboards and saying, okay, this is how we're going to get this to happen, when it comes to making the other characters super. Because honestly, I think they are. And again, you cannot deny that. Because that's a potential idea that nobody else has ever thought of. When it comes to either Sonic comic books. You can't tell. And to me, it's an opportunity that Ian Flynn and Aaliyah and Ivan, despite how you feel about them and how you feel about the IDW book, to me, it's an opportunity they can't pass up. So maybe we might get it in some way, shape, or form in IDW, potentially the way we were supposed to get it, in the Archie book, but we'll see. But I believe, Just based on the fact that we got overclocked Nicole. Overclocked Nicole. In the conclusion of Spark of Life. Not once, but we got her twice. The second time being in the final battle, Panic in the Sky. You cannot tell me they weren't planting the seeds for the other freedom fighters to go super as well. You can't tell me that. Because I think they were. And again, the fact that they were going to have them go off on these individual adventures along with the Sonic game characters alongside them, you can't tell me that wasn't being, that wasn't being considered as a possibility of either showing us a glimpse or teasing us with the fact that these characters were going to go super. You can't tell me that's not what was being planned or at least, pondered. Because I think it was. Because again, you can't just give it to someone like Nicole based on the digital platform and all that twice. There had to be a reason for that. And I think, obviously, that reason would have came in that Sonic Universe story arc that they had planned for the characters. And then possibly, showcasing it post 300, in a big climactic battle with Eggman or whatever threat was bigger than him. But what do you guys think? Do you think potentially with, Nicole debuting her overclocked design, her super form, that was a tease of the Freedom Fighters also getting it down the line? Had things not gone askew? What are your thoughts? Comment down below, live chat during the premiere, which I'm sure you have. Like the video. Check out the Teespring store. Check me out at BW Rose's Discussions at all your favorite audio podcast locations except for Pandora. As well as check me out at BW Roses on Vimeo. Check me out at BW Roses on Patreon. And check out my Venmo if you want to help donate there as well. So until next time, guys, let me know what your thoughts are. I'm out.